This shouldn't exist, a megacity of 13 million people, built in a desert that gets less rain than Beirut. A place that defied every rule of urban planning, stole water from 250 miles away, and became the entertainment capital of the world. Los Angeles is a city that cheated geography, rewrote the rules of physics, and became America's second-largest metropolis against all odds. This is the story of the most impossible city ever built, and the price humanity paid to make it real. Before Los Angeles, there was something else. For over 8,000 years, the Tongva people thrived here. They called this land Tovangar. They understood something that Europeans would forget. This land demands respect. The Tongva lived in balance with the harsh climate. They harvested acorns from oak trees, caught fish from the ocean, and never took more than the land could give. Their villages dotted the LA basin, over 100 settlements, with as many as 5,000 people living in harmony with an unforgiving environment. But in 1769, Spanish explorers arrived. They saw empty land, opportunity, resources to exploit. They were wrong about the empty part, and their descendants would spend the next 250 years fighting the land itself. September 4th, 1781, Governor Philippe de Neve ordered the establishment of a pueblo, a civilian town, to support the Spanish missions spreading across California. 44 settlers arrived, not Spanish conquistadors or wealthy colonists. No, these were gente de raison, mixed-race families, mostly of indigenous, African, and Spanish descent. The majority were classified as mulatto, mestizo, or indio. Los Angeles was diverse from day one. They were given basic supplies, some livestock, and a plot of land next to a pitiful river. The Spanish crown's instructions were simple: survive and expand the empire. But survival was anything but simple. Summer temperatures exceeded 100 degrees. Winter brought floods. The Los Angeles River was a joke, sometimes a raging torrent, mostly a dry creek bed. The nearest major settlement, San Diego, was 120 miles south on horseback. For the first 70 years, LA remained irrelevant. A dusty pueblo of a few hundred people. Cattle ranching kept them alive, nothing more. Suddenly, in 1848, everything changed. Gold was discovered 350 miles north at Sutter's Mill. California exploded. La, though far from the gold fields, became a crucial supply hub. It transformed into a lawless boom town, a stop for gamblers, outlaws, and prospectors. The tiny pueblo became a hotbed of violence, averaging a murder a day. It was known as the Queen of the Cow Counties, a brutal, bloody frontier town. The gold rush didn't make LA rich, but it put it on the map. The real gold, however, wasn't in the mountains. It was something far more valuable in a desert: water. And one man understood this better than anyone else. His name was William Mulholland. An Irish immigrant who arrived with nothing, Mulholland taught himself engineering and rose to become the head of LA's water department. He saw a city on the verge of greatness, held back by a single, terrifying problem. It was dying of thirst. The population was booming. New residents arrived by the thousands, drawn by the promise of sunshine and open land. But the Los Angeles River was failing. By 1904, the city was in a crisis. Mulholland knew that without a new water source, Los Angeles would shrink back into the desert dust. So he devised a plan so audacious, so controversial, it's still debated today. He would steal a river. 233 miles away, the Owens River flowed, fed by Sierra Nevada snowmelt. The Owens Valley was a fertile farming community. Mulholland and a group of LA's wealthiest men, including railroad magnate Henry Huntington, secretly bought up land and water rights from the unsuspecting farmers. They used deception and political power to secure their prize. The plan was to build an aqueduct, a massive concrete channel, to divert the entire river and pipe it across the Mojave Desert to Los Angeles. It was an engineering marvel and an act of pure ruthlessness. Construction of the Los Angeles Aqueduct began in 1908. It was the largest municipal construction project in the world. For 5 years, over 5,000 men toiled in the brutal desert heat, blasting through mountains and digging trenches. They faced cave-ins, explosions, and scorching temperatures. It was a war against nature, a monumental feat of human will. The project was as brilliant as it was destructive. Back in the Owens Valley, the river dried up, farms withered. The community was destroyed. It became known as the California Water Wars, a conflict marked by sabotage, bombings, and armed standoffs as the valley's residents fought desperately to save their homes. But they couldn't stop progress. On November 5, 1913, thousands of Angelanos gathered to watch the first water from the Owens Valley cascade into the San Fernando Valley. William Mulholland stood before the crowd, uttered 5 famous words, and sealed the fate of his city. There it is. Take it. With a stolen river, Los Angeles was unleashed. The water wasn't just for drinking, it was for growth. The city annexed the vast arid San Fernando Valley, promising water to anyone who joined LA. Farmland was subdivided into an endless grid of suburban lots. Real estate boomed. The population exploded from 100,000 in 1900 to over 1 million by 1930. But Mulholland's water wasn't enough. The city kept growing, an insatiable beast demanding more. So engineers looked even further, to the mighty Colorado River, 250 miles east. This led to the construction of the Hoover Dam and the Colorado River Aqueduct, another epic project that siphoned water across another desert to fuel LA's relentless expansion. Los Angeles had now conquered thirst. It had water, it had land, but it needed one more thing to become a true global powerhouse, an industry. And it arrived, not with a bang, but with the flicker of a movie projector. Early filmmakers were fleeing Thomas Edison's patent enforcers on the East Coast. They found a paradise in Southern California. The weather was perfect for year-round shooting. The diverse landscape, deserts, mountains, beaches, and a growing city could stand in for anywhere in the world. Hollywood was born. Studios like Paramount, Warner Bros., and MGM sprouted up. The movie industry didn't just bring jobs. It created a myth. It sold the LA dream to the entire world, a place of sunshine, glamour, and endless possibility. Movies became the city's greatest advertisement. People saw palm trees and swimming pools on screen and packed their bags. During the Great Depression, while the rest of the country suffered, Hollywood thrived, churning out escapist fantasies. Los Angeles wasn't just a city anymore. It was a destination, a dream factory. The oil and aviation industries soon followed, cementing its economic power. The city that shouldn't exist was now unstoppable. But there was a price for this impossible dream. The endless sprawl, fueled by the automobile, created a city of suburbs connected by a web of freeways. This led to epic traffic jams and some of the worst air pollution in the nation. The very sunshine that drew people here became trapped in a layer of smog. Social tensions simmered beneath the glamorous surface. The diverse communities that helped build the city were often pushed to the margins, facing segregation and inequality, leading to explosive events like the Watts riots in 1965 and the 1992 Rodney King riots. The city's relentless thirst has had devastating ecological consequences, draining rivers, destroying ecosystems, and contributing to a permanent state of drought. The story of Los Angeles is a paradox. It's a testament to human ingenuity and ambition, a city that willed itself into existence against all odds. It's a beacon of creativity, diversity, and innovation, but it's also a cautionary tale about the consequences of unchecked growth, the fight for resources, and the high price of cheating geography. Los Angeles is the impossible city, a beautiful, sprawling, complicated metropolis built on a foundation of stolen water and Hollywood dreams. And its future, facing climate change and a constant water crisis, remains as uncertain as its unbelievable past. Then 1846 happened. The Mexican-American War. When it ended in 1848, California officially became American territory. Almost immediately, that same year, gold was discovered in Northern California. Suddenly, this remote piece of land mattered. A lot. Tens of thousands of fortune seekers flooded the state, all hoping to strike it rich. San Francisco exploded from a tiny settlement into a booming metropolis almost overnight. But what about Los Angeles? It was still nothing. A lawless backwater with just 1,600 people. It was known mainly for violence. In fact, LA had one of the highest murder rates in the entire American West. Lynchings were common. Vigilante justice was the only law. It was a rough, dangerous place. But a few people looked past the chaos and saw potential. They saw land cheap, abundant land, soaked in sunshine 300 days a year. They knew it could be a paradise. They just needed two things to make it happen: people and water. And as it turned out, they were willing to do absolutely anything to get both. The first big break came in 1876. The Southern Pacific Railroad finally blasted through the mountains and connected Los Angeles to San Francisco. For the very first time, LA was truly accessible to the rest of the country. But the real game changer arrived in 1885 when the Santa Fe Railroad completed a second line directly into Los Angeles. Now, you had two massive railroad companies competing fiercely for passengers. What happened next was insane. A full-blown price war erupted. Tickets from the Midwest to Los Angeles started dropping. A ticket from Kansas City went from $125 down to $25, then to $15. And finally, in March of 1887, the price hit rock bottom, $1. A single dollar to travel across half the country to the land of sunshine. The floodgates opened. Thousands upon thousands of Americans, farmers from the cold plains, merchants looking for new markets, dreamers, and hustlers all poured into Southern California. The real estate market went into a frenzy. Speculators bought up huge tracts of land and prices skyrocketed. Entire towns popped up overnight, each one promising to be the next big city. Of course, most of them were just schemes that collapsed within months, leaving behind a landscape of ghost towns in the making. But Los Angeles itself just kept growing. The population jumped from 11,000 people in 1880 to over 50,000 by 1890, and then it doubled again, hitting over 100,000 people by the year 1900. The boosters and developers were ecstatic. The city was booming. But that's when a terrifying reality began to set in. Los Angeles was officially running out of water. This is where our next key figure enters the story, William Mulholland. He was an Irish immigrant who came to LA in 1877 with barely a fifth-grade education. He started at the very bottom, taking a job digging ditches for the tiny Los Angeles Water Company. But Mulholland wasn't just a laborer, he was brilliant and obsessed. He was entirely self-taught. At night, he would read complex engineering and hydraulics textbooks by candlelight. He dedicated himself to his work, memorizing the location of every single pipe, every valve, every water source in the growing city. His genius didn't go unnoticed. By 1886, he had risen through the ranks to become the superintendent of the entire water company. And by the turn of the century, he understood something that terrified him. Los Angeles was doomed. The small Los Angeles River, the city's only source of water, could barely support the 100,000 people already there, let alone the millions that the city's boosters were promising would come. The city's wells were running dry. The underground aquifer was being drained faster than it could be replenished. Mulholland knew that without a radical, almost impossible solution, Los Angeles would stop growing. Worse, it could shrivel up and collapse entirely. So he got to work. He spent months riding out into the desolate wilderness, studying old maps, surveying the land, desperately searching for a new source of water. And then he found it. The Owens Valley, a remote valley 233 miles northeast of Los Angeles, on the other side of the massive Sierra Nevada mountains. It was a world away. This valley was fed by the snowmelt from the highest peaks in California, creating a river, the Owens River, that flowed year-round through a fertile agricultural paradise. Mulholland stood on a ridge overlooking this pristine valley. with its life-giving river flowing through it. He saw the future. He saw salvation for his city. And in that moment, he reportedly said 5 simple words that would define the next century of Los Angeles and spark one of the most brutal conflicts in American history. There it is. Take it. Imagine building a city in the middle of a desert. A sprawling metropolis of millions, shimmering under the sun, Los Angeles. Hollywood, the dream. But this dream is built on a lie, a theft of epic proportions that cost an entire valley its lifeblood. This is the story of how Los Angeles stole a river and the people who fought back. This is the story of the California Water Wars. Before the freeways and the film studios, Los Angeles was a small, dusty town with a big problem. It was running out of water. The Los Angeles River, its only source, was drying up. By 1904, the city was on the brink of collapse. The city's leaders, men of vision and ambition, knew they needed a radical solution. They looked north, 233 miles away, to a remote valley nestled in the shadow of the Sierra Nevada mountains, the Owens Valley. The Owens Valley was an oasis. Fed by the snowmelt from the towering mountains, the Owens River flowed through a fertile landscape. Supporting family farms, ranches, and thriving small towns, it was a paradise. And it had exactly what Los Angeles desperately needed: water. Lots of it. The plan was audacious, almost unthinkable. Build a giant aqueduct, a man-made river, to divert the entire Owens River and carry its water across the Mojave Desert to Los Angeles. The man tasked with this monumental project was William Mulholland, the head of the city's water department. A self-taught Irish immigrant, Mulholland was a brilliant engineer, a relentless visionary who saw the aqueduct as his destiny and the key to LA's future. But there was a problem. The Owens Valley wasn't empty. Farmers and ranchers had built their lives there for generations. The water belonged to them. So Los Angeles launched a covert operation, one of the most ruthless in American history. Starting in 1905, agents from Los Angeles, led by a man named Fred Eaton, descended on the Owens Valley. Posing as ranchers, businessmen, and even federal agents, they began quietly buying up land and, more importantly, the water rights attached to that land. They used front companies and fake names. They paid bribes and spread misinformation. They told farmers they were part of a federal reclamation project that would help them, when in reality, they were selling their futures to the city of Los Angeles. The farmers had no idea they were competing against a powerful, unified enemy with deep pockets. By the time the truth came out, it was too late. Los Angeles had secretly secured control of the Owens River. With the water rights secured, Mulholland went public. In 1907, Los Angeles voters, panicked by manufactured reports of a drought, overwhelmingly approved a $23 million bond to fund the aqueduct. It was the largest municipal bond in American history at that time. Mulholland promised them a miracle, enough water to support a city of 2 million people. The stage was set for an engineering feat of biblical proportions. Construction began in 1908. It was a war against nature. 5,000 men, working in over 60 camps, battled the unforgiving landscape. They endured brutal desert heat that could reach 120 degrees in freezing mountain cold. They blasted through solid granite mountains, dug 142 separate tunnels, and laid miles of massive steel pipes called siphons that plunged down canyon walls and up the other side. The work was dangerous and deadly. At least 43 men died, though the true number is likely higher. Accidents, heat stroke, and premature dynamite explosions were common. But Mulholland was relentless. He pushed his men and himself to the breaking point. He was building more than just an aqueduct. He was building an empire. Finally, after 5 years of blood, sweat, and dynamite, the colossal project was complete. November 5th, 1913, 40,000 people gathered in the San Fernando Valley at the aqueduct's terminus. The atmosphere was electric. Bands played, flags waved. It was the birth of a new era for Los Angeles. William Mulholland, the hero of the hour, stood before the crowd as the water from the Owens Valley cascaded down the spillway for the first time. He raised his hand, pointed to the flowing water, and delivered one of the most famous lines in California history. "There it is. Take it," the crowd erupted. Los Angeles had its water. Unlimited water. The impossible city in the desert could now grow without limits, and grow it did. The population boomed, real estate developers made fortunes, and Los Angeles began its transformation into the global megacity we know today. But 233 miles away, the triumph of Los Angeles was the tragedy of the Owens Valley. As LA drank, the valley died. Farmers watched their crops wither and their orchards turn to skeletons. The Owens Lake, once a large, navigable body of water, dried up completely. It became a vast, sterile salt flat, the single largest source of toxic dust pollution in North America. The once lush valley turned to dust. The people of the Owens Valley did not surrender their homes and livelihoods quietly. They fought back. They called it the Valley War. Between 1924 and 1931, they dynamited the aqueduct 16 separate times in a desperate attempt to reclaim their water. In 1924, a group of armed farmers and ranchers seized the Alabama Gates, a key control point on the aqueduct, and opened them, defiantly diverting the water back into the dry riverbed. For 4 days, they held their ground. But they were no match for the power and wealth of Los Angeles. The city sent in armed guards, branded the farmers as terrorists in the press, and used its political and financial muscle to crush the resistance. They bought up even more land, forcing the remaining families out. By 1930, the fight was over. The Owens Valley was a wasteland, its communities ghost towns. Los Angeles had grown to over 1.2 million people. The city had won, but at what cost? But here's what the doubters don't understand. Los Angeles has always been impossible, and impossible cities don't quit. Los Angeles is fighting back, reinventing itself again. The city is investing $120 billion in public transportation, the largest infrastructure project in American history. The metro system is expanding faster than any transit system in the country. With 28 new stations planned by 2028, bike lanes are multiplying, and walkable neighborhoods are replacing parking lots. What about the water crisis? By 2035, LA plans to recycle 100% of its wastewater. It's capturing stormwater and investing in desalination. Per capita water usage has already dropped 20% since the year 2000. And the air quality? It's improved by 70% since the 1980s thanks to strict emissions standards. LA led the nation in environmental regulations, and now the air is cleaner than it's been in 50 years. As for the fires, the city is creating defensible space, building fire-resistant communities, and preparing evacuation systems that save lives. But technology isn't what will save LA. People will. The same diversity that was once suppressed is now the city's greatest strength. Los Angeles is home to 140 different languages. It has the largest Mexican population outside Mexico, the largest Korean population outside Korea, and the largest Armenian, Filipino, Thai, Ethiopian, and Iranian communities in America. This isn't a melting pot, it's a mosaic. East LA, Koreatown, Little Tokyo, Little Armenia, Thai Town, each neighborhood is a world unto itself. These communities are organizing. They're fighting for environmental justice, affordable housing, police reform, and workers' rights. They're not waiting for politicians to save them. They're saving themselves. So what is Los Angeles? It's a warning. A warning about ambition without limits, about the cost of defying nature, about inequality, exploitation, and environmental destruction. But it's also a testament to human resilience, innovation, and reinvention. It's a stubborn refusal to accept impossible as an answer. Los Angeles shouldn't exist. It stole water from a dying valley, sprawled without a plan, polluted its own air. It burned and rioted and nearly destroyed itself. But 13 million people call this place home. And despite everything, the fires, the quakes, the traffic, the cost, they wouldn't live anywhere else. Because LA isn't just a city. It's an idea. The idea that you can come from nothing and become everything, that the past doesn't define you. That dreams, no matter how impossible, are worth fighting for. This is Los Angeles. From a dusty pueblo of 44 settlers to a megacity of 13 million. From empty desert to the entertainment capital of the world. From the impossible to the inevitable. The story of Los Angeles is the story of America itself, flawed, ambitious, diverse, resilient, and eternally reinventing itself. The future is uncertain. The challenges are immense. But if there's one thing Los Angeles has taught us, it's that the impossible just takes a little longer. Have you ever wondered what would happen if a city, a massive, sprawling metropolis, just died? What if a city built on a dream suddenly woke up to a nightmare? This is the story of Los Angeles, a city teetering on the brink of collapse, a modern-day Rome waiting for its fall. And you might be surprised to learn that its end might not come from a single catastrophic event, but from a slow, grinding decay that's been happening for decades. Let's travel back in time, the early 20th century. A handful of ambitious and, frankly, ruthless men looked at the arid landscape of Southern California and didn't see a desert. They saw a paradise. They saw money. But there was one big problem: no water. So they hatched a plan, a devious and brilliant plan to steal it. They quietly bought up land and water rights from unsuspecting farmers in the Owens Valley, hundreds of miles away. They promised a land of opportunity, but it was a promise built on a lie that would have devastating consequences. With stolen water, Los Angeles boomed. It became the epicenter of dreams, the home of Hollywood. Stars were born, fortunes were made, and the city sprawled outwards, a concrete jungle devouring the desert. But this growth was a mirage. To sustain it, LA had to keep reaching, keep taking. Next, it was the mighty Colorado River. LA, along with other cities, siphoned off its water, building massive aqueducts and dams. They tamed nature, or so they thought. This insatiable thirst created a city that shouldn't exist, a city living on borrowed time and borrowed water. The foundation of this paradise was built on theft and environmental manipulation, a sin that would come back to haunt it. But the worst crisis wasn't environmental, it was social. Beneath the sunny, glamorous exterior, a deep-seated rage was building. Black and Latino residents, who were essential in building Los Angeles, working in its factories and serving its wealthy elite, faced a wall of police brutality, housing discrimination, and economic exclusion. They built the city but owned almost none of it. On August 11, 1965, the simmering tension exploded. A routine traffic stop in the Watts neighborhood spiraled out of control, igniting 6 days of rioting. The smoke from burning buildings choked the California sky. When it cleared, 34 people were dead, over 1,000 were injured, and entire city blocks were reduced to rubble. The violence sent shockwaves across America. How could this happen in the supposed city of dreams? But the city didn't learn its lesson. Fast forward to April 29, 1992, the world watched in disbelief as 4 white police officers were acquitted of brutally beating Rodney King, an attack captured on video and seen by millions. The verdict was a match dropped into a tinderbox of frustration and injustice. Within hours, South Los Angeles erupted in flames and fury. The LA riots, as they came to be known, raged for 6 terrifying days. The human cost was staggering. 63 people lost their lives, over 2,000 were injured. The economic devastation was immense, with over $1 billion in damage. Koreatown, a vibrant immigrant community, was particularly devastated. Los Angeles, the city that promised opportunity for all, was tearing itself apart from the inside out, revealing the deep, unhealed wounds of racial and economic inequality. And now, the future is literally on fire. Climate change has turned the once golden hills of Southern California into a powder keg. The droughts last longer, stretching for years. Temperatures climb to record-breaking highs, turning lush vegetation into dry tinder. The fire season is no longer a season. It's a year-round threat. In 2018, the Woolsey Fire roared through Malibu, incinerating multi-million-dollar homes. In 2020, the sky over California turned an apocalyptic orange blotting out the sun for days as megafires raged. Entire neighborhoods are forced to evacuate at a moment's notice, fleeing homes that are later reduced to nothing but ash. And what about the water that LA stole to build its empire? It's disappearing. The Colorado River, a critical water source for 40 million people, is at a dangerously low level. Lake Mead, a massive reservoir that serves as LA's lifeline, has shrunk to historic lows, its receding waters revealing sunken boats and long-hidden secrets. Scientists are issuing stark warnings. They predict that by 2050, LA's water supply could face a catastrophic collapse. The stolen water is running out. The bill for a century of environmental arrogance is coming due. But there's another threat, one lurking deep beneath the city's foundations. The San Andreas Fault. It's a geological time bomb, a massive crack in the Earth's crust that runs right through Southern California. Seismologists don't talk about if the next big earthquake will hit. They only talk about when. They call it the big one. A magnitude 7.8 earthquake, a plausible scenario, would be an apocalypse. It could kill thousands, injure tens of thousands more, and cause an estimated $200 billion in damage. It would cripple the city's infrastructure for decades, shattering the illusion of stability. Los Angeles is a city facing a perfect storm of crises. Its stolen water is vanishing. Its social fabric is frayed. The land it's built on is ready to burn, and the ground beneath it is ready to shake. The city of dreams is running out of water, running out of time, and running out of luck. The fundamental question we have to ask is, can this impossible city survive the consequences of its own creation? Or was it, from the very beginning, doomed to fall? Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the dark side of the American dream fascinating, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world.